Hello, my best students, and welcome back to Native Explorer. This is the channel where we take world-famous books and turn them into simple, clear, and life-changing English lessons. Today, we are diving into a book that can literally reprogram your brain to work better, faster, and smarter. The book is Brain Rules by Dr. John Medina, one of the world's leading brain researchers. This is not a boring science lecture. This book is full of practical science-based rules that explain how your brain actually works and how you can use that knowledge to learn faster, remember more, stay focused, and live better. Millions of people around the world have read this book, and now it's your turn, but in simple, clear English. So you not only understand the ideas, you also practice your English fluency at the same time. Let me ask you something. Have you ever studied hard but forgotten everything the next day? Have you ever felt tired and foggy even after a full night's sleep? Have you tried to focus but your mind kept wandering? If yes, this book is for you. Your brain is not broken. It's just running on the wrong rules. And Brain Rules will teach you the right ones. In this video, you'll learn all 12 brain rules explained step by step. Each one is based on real science, but shared in clear English. So you can improve your vocabulary, your listening, and your speaking skills, while also learning how to use your brain like never before. So if you're ready to study smarter, think clearer, and unlock your true potential, let's begin with the first brain rule. Brain Rule 1. Exercise boosts brain power. Yes, you heard that right. Exercise isn't just for six-pack abs. It's not just for burning fat. It's for boosting your brain. Your brain works better when your body moves. Our ancestors didn't sit in front of computers all day. They were always moving, hunting, walking, surviving. And the brain evolved to perform at its best when the body is in motion. Dr. Medina explains that exercise increases oxygen to your brain, improves memory, focus, creativity, and even protects your brain from diseases like Alzheimer's. And here's the amazing part. You don't need a gym or hours of training. Even 20 to 30 minutes of walking a day can start changing your brain. People who exercise regularly have better memory and faster reaction times. Their brain size is bigger, especially in the part responsible for learning and memory. They feel less stressed and less anxious. Students who walk before class perform better in tests. So if you feel tired, foggy, or unmotivated, the solution isn't more coffee. The solution is movement. Let me tell you about someone I met a few years ago. He was 42 years old, overweight, depressed, couldn't focus on anything. He was failing in his job. His memory was getting worse. His doctor said his brain was slowing down. One morning at 4 a.m., he just put on his shoes and started walking. That's it. Every day, 30 minutes, no phone, no excuses, just walking. After 3 weeks, his focus improved. After 2 months, he got promoted at work. After 6 months, he lost 10 kilos. But more importantly, he said, "I got my brain back. I feel alive again." Why? Because walking was the fuel his brain was missing. If you want to remember better, if you want to think clearly, if you want to become smarter, more confident, more focused, start moving your body. Not next week, not tomorrow, today. Your brain is waiting. Brain Rule 2. Survival. The brain evolved, too. Your brain is not just for school. It wasn't created to do math problems or memorize vocabulary. It was built and trained for one purpose over millions of years: survival. Everything your brain does today, every fear, every decision, every thought comes from that ancient goal: stay alive. But here's the truth. This survival programming is still inside you, and it can either push you forward or hold you back. Imagine early humans walking in the wild. Danger everywhere. Animals, storms, hunger, unknown paths. To survive, their brains had to be hyper-aware, problem-solving, emotionally alert, able to remember past dangers, able to predict future threats. So, the human brain evolved in the jungle, not in a classroom. That's why your brain responds so strongly to emotion, urgency, faces, movement, fear, novelty, new things. But here's the problem. Today, we're sitting in offices and classrooms. We're scrolling endlessly, and the brain is bored, stressed, or disconnected from real purpose. Your brain still wants to hunt, solve real problems, feel meaning, and explore. But what do most people do? They memorize things they don't care about, work jobs that feel meaningless, sit for hours without movement, consume without creating. And that creates mental burnout because your brain wasn't built for this. It was built to survive through meaning, exploration, and challenge. There was a young woman named Lena. She was working in a cold gray office in London 9 hours a day. Same routine, no passion. Her mental health started collapsing. One day she remembered her childhood dream to build homes for people in places no one else will go. She quit her job, joined a volunteering mission, and within a year she was designing solar-powered homes in remote deserts in Kenya. She said, "For the first time in years, I feel alive. My brain is awake again. I feel like I'm using it the way it was made to be used." That's the power of aligning with your brain's true purpose. Survival through meaning. If you feel lost, tired, or like something is missing, it's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain was built for something deeper. Ask yourself, what challenge excites me? What danger am I avoiding? What problem can I solve that actually matters? Your brain evolved to survive, but today, you must evolve to live. Don't just exist, engage, explore, solve, risk, building. That's what your brain is begging you to do. Brain Rule 3, Wiring. Every brain is wired differently. There's no one like you. Not in your street, not in your school, not in your country, not in the entire universe. Your brain, the way it connects, thinks, feels, and learns, is 100% unique. So why are we all trying to learn the same way? Why are we all being judged by the same tests? Why are we all forced to follow the same path? Because we've forgotten how different we really are. Think of your brain like a computer, but not just any computer. A machine that rewires itself every day based on your memories, emotions, experiences, fears, habits, environment. That means your way of learning is different from mine. Your way of thinking is different from your brother, your teacher, your boss, or your friend. What works for one person might never work for another. Some people learn by reading, others learn by watching, others by doing, moving, building, teaching, or even failing. There was a boy named Max. He always failed in class. He couldn't memorize anything. His teacher called him slow. But Max had a secret. He could see machines in his mind. He could look at a fan or a broken light bulb and understand how it worked without ever being taught. Years later, Max became an engineer, not because of school, but because he followed his wiring. Today, he builds silent wind turbines that power homes in rural villages. He said, "I wasn't dumb. I just learned in a different way." Your brain physically rewires every time you learn something new. No two brains store the same memory in the same place. Even identical twins have different brain wiring. People with dyslexia, ADHD, or autism often have different learning wiring, not broken brains. Stop comparing your brain to someone else's. Stop thinking you're not smart just because you don't learn the way others do. Instead, find what works for you. Test different learning styles. Play to your strengths, and don't be afraid to go against the system. Your brain is not broken. It's just beautifully different. And the moment you start working with it, not against it, your life will transform. Brain Rule 4, Attention. We don't pay attention to boring things. Let's be brutally honest. The modern world is full of noise. Every second something is trying to steal your attention. Ads, messages, social media, screens, notifications. And here's the truth most people ignore. Your brain was not built for multitasking. It was built to survive. And that means it only pays attention to what it finds important. If something feels boring, your brain automatically switches off. And that's not your fault. That's biology. Your brain is like a security guard. It stands at the gate and asks, "Is this dangerous? Is this new? Is this emotional? Is this useful?" If the answer is yes, the gate opens. If the answer is no, your attention moves on. That's why we forget long lectures. That's why most meetings feel useless. That's why we zone out while reading boring books. Let's say you walk into a room. The wall has a soft cream color wallpaper. Nothing changes. You don't even notice it. But suddenly there's a flash of lightning outside. Boom. What happens? Your eyes widen. Your body freezes. Your brain says, "Pay attention." That's how attention works. Your brain notices change, movement, emotion, surprise, urgency. But if everything stays the same, your brain stops caring. The brain can only focus for about 10 minutes at a time before needing a reset. Emotion activates more brain activity than plain facts. Visuals, stories, and humor boost attention more than dry information. People remember beginnings and endings, not the boring middle. So if you want to study better, speak better, or teach better, you must learn how to trigger attention. If you want people to listen, if you want your brain to focus, then you have to make it care. Use stories. Use visuals. Ask questions. Add surprise. Change your tone. Take short breaks. Make the information emotional and meaningful. Don't just dump facts. Make the brain feel something. Whether you're a student, a speaker, a creator, or just someone trying to focus on your dreams, remember this. Attention is currency. Spend it wisely, protect it fiercely, and never ever waste it on things that don't matter. If something is boring, make it meaningful because your brain doesn't want more information. It wants a reason to care. Brain Rule 5. Short-term memory. Repeat to remember. Think of your brain like a whiteboard. When you hear or learn something new, it gets written on that board. But here's the problem. The brain's whiteboard is tiny and the writing fades in seconds. If you don't repeat what you learned, it's gone, erased, forgotten. That's short-term memory. It's fast. It's useful. But it doesn't last. Your short-term memory can only hold about 7 pieces of information for less than 30 seconds. Example, someone tells you a phone number. You remember it for a few seconds. Then you blink, check your phone, and it's gone. Sound familiar? That's your short-term memory. It's limited, and it needs help to turn into long-term memory. That help is called repetition. Imagine you have a small bucket with holes in it. You pour water into it, but within seconds it leaks out. Now imagine pouring water again and again and again. Each time the bucket holds just a little more before leaking. Eventually, the bucket gets strong enough to hold water longer. That's how your memory works. Without repetition, it leaks. With repetition, it strengthens. Most people forget 50% of what they learn within 1 hour. After one day, they forget 70%. After 1 week, they forget 90%, unless they review it. That's why repetition is not boring. It's essential. But there's a smarter way to do it. Use spaced repetition. Review at intervals. After 1 hour, 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month. This helps the brain lock the memory in. Tips to improve short-term memory. Chunking. Break large info into small parts. Example 937,426. 937,426. Association. Link new info to what you already know. Visualization. Turn words into mental pictures. Teaching. The best way to remember something is to teach it to someone else. Don't blame your brain for forgetting. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. But if you want to remember, you must train it. Think of every piece of knowledge as a seed. If you only water it once, it dies. But if you come back to it again and again, it grows roots. And one day, it becomes part of you. That's how you go from knowing something to becoming it. Brain Rule 6. Long-term memory. Remember to repeat. Short-term memory is fast and temporary. But long-term memory, that's what shapes your identity. That's where real learning lives. That's how knowledge sticks. Not just for days, but for years. And here's the key. To store something in your long-term memory, you must visit it again and again and again over time. It's not about how many hours you study in one day. It's about how often you come back to it over many days. Think of long-term memory as a path in the forest. The first time you walk it, the path is weak. Grass is high. Bushes block the way. You move slowly. But if you walk that same path again the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, something amazing happens. The path gets clearer, easier, faster. Eventually, it becomes a road. That's how neurons in your brain create strong connections. Every time you recall a memory, you strengthen the path. Imagine writing a word on wet cement. At first, it's clear, but still soft. Touch it too soon, and it smudges. Wait too long without repeating it, and the rain will wash it away. But if you trace that word over and let it dry layer by layer, eventually it becomes permanent. That's what repetition does to your long-term memory. It engraves your learning into your brain. New memories are fragile. They need repeated exposure to become permanent. Sleep, stress, and attention impact memory formation. Memory is not like a file you save. It's like a muscle you train. The act of recalling a memory strengthens it more than simply rereading. This means if you study and review at intervals, spaced repetition, you'll remember far more. If you test yourself instead of just reading, you'll retain more. If you apply knowledge in real life, it becomes part of you. Tips to strengthen long-term memory. Review after 24 hours, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month. Teach what you learn, even to a wall. Use flashcards and quiz yourself. Link new ideas to old ones. Use storytelling and visual memory. Your brain loves pictures. So many people feel like failures when they forget something. They say, "My memory is bad." They say, "I'm just not smart." But that's not true. You're not broken. You just haven't learned how to train your memory yet. And now you know it's not about forcing. It's about repeating, remembering, rewiring. Let time be your teammate and your brain will follow. Brain Rule 7. Sleep. Sleep well, think well. We live in a world that glorifies hustle. No sleep, just work. Winners don't sleep. Sleep is for the weak. But the truth is, sleep is not a waste of time. Sleep is your brain's most powerful tool. When you sleep, your body rests, but your brain gets to work. It processes memories, solves problems, cleans out toxins, and prepares you for the next day. Skipping sleep doesn't make you stronger. It makes you slower, weaker, and less smart. Lack of sleep affects focus, creativity, memory, learning speed, decision-making, mood. Even just one night of poor sleep reduces your brain's performance by almost 40%. That's the same as being legally drunk. You wouldn't go to school drunk. You wouldn't study drunk. But that's what your brain feels like when it's sleep deprived. Imagine your brain as a factory. During the day, workers are running everywhere, taking orders, solving problems, moving fast. But at night, something changes. The lights go dim, machines slow down, and the cleanup crew arrives. They take out the trash, sort the files, organize the mess, repair the machines. If the factory skips this night shift, the mess piles up. Eventually, the system crashes. That's your brain without sleep. During sleep, your brain clears waste and harmful toxins. REM sleep improves problem solving and creativity. Deep sleep locks in long-term memory. People who sleep well are faster learners, better decision makers, and more emotionally stable. Teens who get enough sleep perform better on exams, and athletes who sleep longer win more often. Even 20 to 30-minute naps can boost brain performance significantly. Stick to a sleep schedule, even on weekends. Avoid caffeine 6 hours before bed. Turn off screens 1 hour before sleep. Keep your room dark and cool. Meditate or listen to calm music before bed. Don't eat heavy food too late. Sleep is not just for recovery. It's part of your growth. It's part of your success. Never again say, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," because without sleep, you're not really alive. You're slower. You're foggier. You're losing your edge. If you want to be smart, focused, motivated, and truly successful, then respect your sleep. Protect your sleep. Schedule your sleep like you schedule your dreams. Because without rest, your dreams will remain dreams. But with sleep, they become plans, and plans become power. That brings us to Brain Rule 8, stress. Stress brains don't learn the same way. You might think stress just makes you feel tired or overwhelmed, but it's actually much deeper than that. Stress changes your brain. It shuts down your ability to focus. It blocks memory. It makes it harder for your brain to absorb new information. Think about it. Have you ever tried to study for an exam or learn something new when you were extremely worried about money, family, or work? No matter how many hours you spent, nothing seemed to stick, right? That's because stress is like static noise in your brain. It takes up the mental space that you need for learning, creativity, and focus. Dr. John Medina explains that short bursts of stress can sometimes help you react quickly, like if you're in danger. But long-term stress is toxic. It damages the memory center of your brain, called the hippocampus. That's why people who live under constant stress often forget simple things, feel mentally foggy, or lose motivation. The solution? You can't always remove stress, but you can manage it. Exercise helps. Sleep helps. Talking to someone you trust helps. And even small things like taking short breaks, practicing breathing, or writing down your worries can free your brain from the heavy load of stress. When your brain is calm, it learns faster, remembers more, and thinks more clearly. But when your brain is drowning in stress, it slows down, forgets, and makes mistakes. That's why learning to manage stress is not just about health. It's about success.